You know what's great? Going to a game. You know what's not great? Parking at a game. With Uber, you can turn event parking into a non-event. Just install the Uber app. Enter your destination, confirm your location, and within minutes, a car will pick you up. I know, right? With upfront fares, you can know the price before you go. And you pay with the Uber app so you can save your cash for the souvenir shop. So make tonight a fun night. Install the Uber app now and take your first ride today. Uber, the better way to get there.
You're tuning in to the Goldilocks presentation of the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show with Anthony Rodriguez. Anthony Rodriguez, aka Walking Crow, found transformational energy healing through a personal search into healing and was transformed by this experience. He made the decision to pursue training and has since become a certified energy healing practitioner with an emphasis on working with clients in recovery from addiction. His willingness to be open and listen has allowed him to be of service to many who seek a peaceful, serene, and healthier body, mind, and spirit. Call in now if you would like to speak with Anthony. The call-in number is 713-955-0332. Enjoy this transformational and healing show.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show. I got stuck in my words there. This is Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow, Palabra, Word. Welcome to another Tuesday and another transformational Tuesday, another transformational Taco Tuesday. Boy, just trying to find my feet here. I was up in the mountains a little bit ago and praying to Great Spirit and asking for to be fortified in my ground and in my spirit. And here I am, and ready and willing and waiting to speak to you in a way that's good, in a way that's balanced, in a way that's was meant to be, I hope. And we're going to continue our conversation from last week. Last week we were talking about how to come out of our head, come out of our thinking, come out of our darkness of the mind and come into the body, where we have manifested unhealthy things over a period of time from not tending to the issues in the tissues, the feelings in the body, whether they be emotional in nature, spiritual in nature, psychological, or what have you. When we don't tend to our garden has a tendency to die. And I'm a prime example of that. You know, I spent a lot of years before I found energy healing, before I found my medicine, and I was out there doing things and behaving in a way that didn't help me in any way, and it didn't help anybody else. But I'm reminded on the 26th of this month that, 25 years ago, almost 25 years ago, I made a decision to stop treating myself that way, and that was only the beginning. It was only scratching the surface, scratching the surface. There you go. And for me to transform, and for you to transform, there had to be examples for me. There has to be examples for you, and I hope that I'm that example for you. And I hope that I speak from a place, at least I am willing to speak to a place of truth and a place of humility. And that's why in the beginning of the show, you will hear me say palabra, word, because I'm going to speak from my truth, and it's not always to speak from my truth because it's at times uncomfortable, a little shameful, a little hurtful. It's all those things, but you have to know that I know this is what it takes. It takes walking through the fire. It takes having to put iron into the fire to fortify it and have it become steel and become even stronger than it was in the first place. And sharing my stories with you and sharing the triumphs and the failures that I've had with you, I believe helps you to come into your power and your spirit and who it is that you are. And how do we come out of our head, Anthony? How do we How do we do that? What are you talking about when you talk about coming out of our head? You know, we have to think about things, yeah, but we don't have to overthink about things. You know, we spend a lot of time spinning. You hear in the media, you know, you hear the term, they're spinning the story. You know, well, we do the same thing. We spin the story in our head. And when we spend a lot of time spinning a story in our head, that means that we're not taking care of our bodies. We're not taking care of our truth. We're not taking care of our heart, our connection to others, our ground, our fire, our fuego, you know, our voice, our vibration. And my job is to do that, not just on the radio, not just with my clients in my healing room, not just when I'm doing workshops and seminars, but every day, all the time. And it's not always easy, you know. It's not always easy. Our best thinking sometimes gets in our way, and you know, we stop looking at ourselves like we're supposed to. I mean, by the way, you know, you don't want to really spend a lot of time looking at yourself either, because there's an old saying that I learned from a good friend of mine, David Hernandez, a paralysis through analysis. And you don't want to have your life stop or be frozen in your tracks by your fear, your shame, your hurts, your wounds, and your trauma, because we've had quite enough of that, haven't we? I hope. Calling number is area code 713-955-0332. Give us a call. Tell us and share with us your experience about transformation, about letting go, or even if you can let go. If there's something in your life that you're holding on to, you know, give us a call, 713-955-0332, and push 1 to get out of listen mode. And that'll let our producers know that you're wanting to talk to me and you're wanting to have a conversation about what it is that's working or not working in your life. You know, because there's a lot of times where we think that things are working in our lives, and you know, and then someday somebody says to us, "How's that working for you?" The old adage, the old saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, only to achieve the same result over and over and over. You know, so right here, right now, I say, you know, let go, let God. You know, let go, let good, and let go of those things. You know, reach out for help. You know, talk to the people that are close to you and that love you, and or that you think love you, or that you think care about you, and ask them for help. Tell them you need them. Tell them you need your help. Tell them you love them. Tell them you would like their love. You know, these things are hard for us to do. You know, we spend a lot of time living our lives in and out of duty, you know. And I hear an example. I love my mom. I love her to death. And it took me a long time to be in a relationship with my mother in a good and loving way. And, you know, when she goes to, you know, I'm going to tell on her a little bit. When she goes to church, she says, "I'm going to go do my duty." Well, you know, that's, for me, that's duty is no reason to go to church or reason to do anything. And God bless my mom. That's just the way she looks at things. And she's good with that. And maybe that's judgment on my part, maybe, and maybe it's just discernment on my part as well. You know, depending on which word I choose to use, without really judging my mom. Because what I'm really doing is looking in at myself and saying, you know, do I need to do anything from duty? Do I owe you something? Do I owe the church something? Do I owe, you know, I do owe myself something. I'm worthy, you know. I am worthy, and I do owe myself the best that I can give myself. And sometimes it's not so easy. Let's take a minute right now, and we're about 8 minutes into the show. And I want you to put your feet flat on the floor. And if you're sitting, put your hands on your knees, and you know, sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, close your eyes, look into yourself, and look into your heart and feel your heart space. I want you to feel your heart space and your 4 chakra: air, lungs, I love, I'm loved. And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale right into your lungs. And I want you to take another breath. And when you take that breath, I want you to imagine yourself taking it all the way to your feet and allowing your feet to sink into Mother Earth and connect with her beautiful energies as they rise up to Middle Earth through all the layers of Mother Earth. And take a breath again. And exhale, feeling that in your sternum, just above your stomach, in your third chakra where your fire lives, your fire, your fuego, your I can, I will, I do. Fire needs oxygen to burn. So take another third breath and take it deep. Oxygenate that fire, oxygenate your body, and stoke that fire in your third chakra, your esteem. Allow it to grow, and exhale. Building fire within yourself, building steam, building esteem, building esteem in a good way, and that's just a simple tool of taking breaths to be with yourself that help us to build esteem, because sometimes we forget, and we have a tendency to live in so much ego at times because of what we don't know, of what we don't want others to know that we don't know, that we forget to really care for ourselves with a simple breath, or with a simple being still and being with ourselves. I would ask you in the morning, when you get up in the morning, take time to check in with yourself. And I preach about this all the time, and maybe preach isn't a good word, but I share with this, and I talk about this all the time. It's put your feet flat on the floor when you get up in the morning. Give yourself something good. Give yourself the awareness of your body and where you are in your body, and where your feelings are, where you're feeling your feelings in your body when you take a breath. Where does it land? How does it land? How does it feel? When your eyes are closed and you take that breath in, do you see color? Do you see light? Do you see darkness? Do you hear sound? Do you hear nothing? Does nothing happen when you take that breath? Because even when nothing happens, when you take that deep breath into yourself to check in with your body, something happens. I hope something always happens. 713-955-0332 is a call-in number. Push 1 to let our producers know that you want to come out of listening mode and you want to be in talking mode. And I would be glad to entertain your problems, your issues. If you need a healing, let me do that for you. I'm an energy healer for the last 5 years. In fact, I just noticed I got a note from LinkedIn saying that I've been, practicing for 5 years now. And wow, how time flies. How time flies when you're flapping your wings. And I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad to be here as an energy healer. And in my daily life, in where I work, I talk about that constantly because I work in the vitamin department of a major natural and organic grocery store. And when people come in to talk, to ask for things, I do a reading on the spot, and I'm reading their bodies, and I'm reading their chakras, and I'm pulling the thread of the sweater, and I'm asking them questions and allowing them to come into their bodies on the spot, standing right there, talking to them and allowing them to understand that, or helping them to understand that not everything is what it seems, not all sicknesses are manifested just in the physical. They come from someplace. And, I had a young lady come in yesterday, and she says, I suffer from fibromyalgia. And I know that fibromyalgia a lot of times comes from PTSD and people who have been molested, when that act was going to happen, and they knew it was going to happen, they would hold energy in their bodies. And, just like when a young man is in a war situation and somebody else incoming and they freeze, and that bomb goes off, and then they go about their business. But it's a constant freezing of the energies of the body that creates toxins and poisons in the body that we hold. And we hold because we live in the story. We don't let go of the story. We don't let go of. I'm not telling you to let go of what happened or that it didn't happen. What I'm saying is we don't have to be in constant thoughts and be wounded by the constant thought of those things. We can let go of the thought of those things and how they happen. And my partner likes to say, because she was in that situation, that those things aren't happening anymore. It's not happening right now. They're not happening anymore. But we relive the trauma, we relive the shame, we relive the hurt, we relive the wound, like ripping off a Band-Aid every time we go into that place where we start to think about it, and we manifest poison in our soft tissue between our joints, and they call that fibromyalgia. They call it lupus. They call it a lot of things. They call it PTSD. And you don't have to live with PTSD. You don't have to live with those things that hurt so deep inside. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that they didn't happen, but we need to learn to live with those things in a different way, and so they become disempowered, and you become empowered in your heart, in your soul, in your fire, in your fuego, in your root, in your connection to others, in element water, a whole, in your connection to others, in your voice, in and of your voice, and talking about those things, and sharing the stories of the things that happened to you, because it's in the sharing and the relating of the stories with others that there's a me too that happens, and they find trust and faith in your story because you're able to talk about it, and you have a common bond, and that common bond is healing between two people. It's a space between us as pillars that brings us together, a whole, the space between us that brings us together. And and you can start to heal that way. And if you're out there and you're looking for a healing and you want to heal in any particular way, we don't care, we don't judge. Give me a call at area code 713-955-0332. Or you can reach out to me through my email and get a 20-minute consultation at Anthony@sacreddrummedicine.com. Let me repeat that, Anthony@sacreddrummedicine.com. Or you can call me at my office number, which is area code 818-442-1717. I will answer the phone and I will take time to speak with you. And if I don't answer the phone for any reason, leave a message and I will call you back, because I'm a man of my word. Palabra, word, aho. This is how we become healthy. This is how we begin to heal, by becoming people of our word, our vibration, our higher source, our higher self. We start to pay attention to those things that call to us, like sitting in nature and trying to be still, and the call or shriek of a hawk rings out, and it catches my attention and stops me in my tracks, and I look to my left, and there are two flying in tandem. What a beautiful sight against the blue father sky, against the mountains of the San Gabriel Mountains here in Los Angeles, and I get to sit in the breeze and listen to the crow caw from a distance, and and my little brothers and sisters, the birds and the birds that fly, and those that crawl and those that swim, call out to me in nature and from nature, and I listen, and I take the time to be still and to be with myself, because I need to be still. I need to be with nature. Nature is where I breathe. Nature is where I live. Nature is where I came from. Aho! In America, we didn't just snap our fingers and like people do now, and things appear. You send an emoji and the pizza shows up. You go to Amazon Prime, and the next day there's something sitting on your doorstep at 7 to 6:30 or 7 a.m. Things are. This is an instant life, like instant quick. You just stir it and there it is. Well, not all things are like that. All things that are fleeting may be like that, but things that are lasting take time to build, like relationships. Getting to know somebody over a period of time, sharing your story, sharing your hurt, sharing your wound. What is it you want to share? What is it you want to tell? There are new ways to talk about things. Well, they're not new ways. They're old ways that we have forgotten. There are ways to talk about things that are healthy for us, that help us to release the energies that are within our bodies, within our minds, and we can begin to heal. And sometimes it's as simple as taking your left hand, while your feet are flat on the floor, and placing it over your heart, and allowing the energy that flows upward through your feet, up into your body, up past your first chakra, your ground, your second chakra, your connection to others, your water element, to where you feel up into the third chakra, your fire, your fuego. I can, I will, I do, your esteem, and travel upward into your heart, and allowing that energy from Mother Earth to travel through your heart. And then as you have your left hand on your heart, allow it to enter from your heart into your left hand, your fifth chakra, your voice, your vibration, your expression. That's where we speak from. And you allow that energy to travel upward into your, past your wrist and up your forearm, and turning the bend at your elbow, and up your bicep and your tricep and into your shoulder. Aho. And then you allow that energy to flow across your shoulders and your collarbone and your epiglottis through your throat, into your right side of your shoulders, and down into your bicep and your tricep, and around the corner to your elbow, and into your forearms of your right hand, the hand of giving, the hand of divine masculine, the hand of giving, the hand of moving forward, and you place that right over your left hand, which is over your heart, the left hand of receiving, the left hand of the divine feminine. And you give yourself love, you give yourself energy, you give yourself a deep breath, and you exhale. And you start to heal yourself in the way that you never knew possible, that you never thought you could. I didn't know I could. I didn't know I could heal myself by simply putting my hands on my body. And sometimes I forget. As a healer, I forget. I get busy in life. I live in the spirit world. I live in this world, in the material world. And sometimes the material world, nudges at us a little bit more in the spiritual world. And, we get sidetracked. And that's my truth, and that's my honesty, and that's where I need to be with you. I need to tell you that I'm the real deal. I'm the guy that'll be honest with you. I'm not the guy that's here to pick your pocket and to be a shyster and try to get your money. That's not the case. I have a gift, and I'm willing to share it. And the gift is I've lived a lot of life, and I've healed a lot of trauma, and I've healed a lot of hurt. Still a lot to go. But I'm here for you to walk with you on your path as you walk with me in my path. And this is what we do. This is what we do. I have elders that I answer to. I have elders that I go to for help. I have teachers, masters, shamans that I go to for help when I don't know something or when I'm stuck. They help me through. And they seek me out for that as well, which I'm honored. I am so honored. And speaking of that, next week I'll be celebrating 25 years of abstinence from from a lot of substances that aren't particularly good for me. Spirits in, spirit out. I spent 20 years putting spirits into my body, and spirit left. And when I removed the spirits from my body, my spirit returned. And next week I'll be celebrating on the 26th, 25 years, a quarter century. That's a long time. To live happy, joyous, and free. So the 24th, in celebration of that, I'm going to start bringing in some of my teacher, master shamans, and I'm going to invite Emma Molina Enrique Enriquez to come be my guest, and she's one of my teachers. She's the shaman, Lady Eagle Feather, Crow Mother, who gave me my name, who anointed me, and gave me my spiritual name of Walking Crow. I just didn't choose Walking Crow, or I just didn't start calling myself Walking Crow because I felt I wanted to, or I needed to, or I wanted to be cool or different. That wasn't the case. My path has been written. My path is preordained, I believe, and it's what it is. And Emma's been with me for a few years now, and we started to walk, and we started to spend time in nature, and I started to see things in nature that she didn't see. I started to hear things that she didn't hear, and she didn't understand where I was going when I went off into the grassy knoll, or into the dirt, or into the bushes, and I would come out with a mushroom, or I would find mushrooms that look like rocks, or whatever the case may be. Or I'd find plants and herbs, and and I didn't know what they were, but I knew what they were. For some reason, I knew what they were called, and she watched this, and she witnessed this, and during this time, the time came for an anointing she felt, and she wanted to give me my name. And this is the person that I want to bring in next Tuesday to share with you, because she has so much to give, and she has given me so much, and she continues to. And then the following week after that, beginning of March, I believe, Jeannie Love. Jeannie Love is an incredible healer, incredible shaman, incredible medium, psychic medium, and she spends a lot of her time healing the earth in Wisconsin, healing the earth in Nebraska, healing the earth at Wounded Knee, and in different places where the earth needs healing, where we need healing. There's been a lot of damage done, and I'm honored to be able to work with this woman, and I can't, I just feel so blessed. In fact, I will see her today. So, and I've invited her to come the following week in 2 weeks. And I'm excited about that because she has so much to share, and she has so much insight and so much knowledge and so much healing. And, and I'm going to say this, hi human, she's just a human. She's just like me. I'm just like you. You're just like us. And you too can develop and heal from your wounds and your hurts and the things that happened in your life, and be empowered by those things to come into the gifts that you may have that you've been ignoring, that you weren't sure of, but there they are. And hopefully in 3 weeks we can follow up with Master Seal. Master Seal is a kahuna from Hawaii, from the islands. He's originally from New Zealand. And this is a man who has come into my life and taken me, I don't want to say under his wing, but this is a man who I have lunch with every couple of weeks, and I'm honored. He shares his healing with me, and he's a healer of a different sort, and he's knowledgeable, and he's loving, and he's caring, and he's nurturing, and he shares it with me, and I get to share what I learned from him with you, and I feel blessed because here it is. I'm talking to you on the radio. I'm talking to you, about the things that we need to let go. What is it you need to let go of? As I was in nature this morning, I noticed the leaves on the floor that had fallen over through the fall, because in this particular place in nature, they don't pick up the leaves. The leaves stay where they are, and they become mulch and fertilizer for the rest of the plants and the trees that are in the area. And I noticed there was some trees that were bare, but there was one tree in particular which I videoed, and this tree was holding on to a lot of leaves, and it reminded me of myself. It was like looking in the mirror and looking at the things that I'm unwilling to let go of sometimes, that I haven't become willing to let go of yet. And I don't ask myself why. I just tell myself that I can and I will and I'll do, because this is what we do in the place of healing. We look around and we have a realization and we understand that, I need to change this. I need to change that. I need to move this pawn over here. I need to move this knight over here. And eventually the game ends and there's a winner. And the winner is going to be me. The winner is going to be you. It's your game. It's your life. How are you willing to move? How are you willing to let go? We're into the second quarter hour of the show. And I want us to, again, take our feet, put them flat on the floor. And I'd like you to put your hands on your thighs. If you're standing, that's okay. Do it where you're standing. Just allow your hands to stay at your side. And I want you to take a breath. Take a deep breath into your heart, past your heart, into your sternum, down into your feet. Take that full breath into your body and release. And one more time, take that breath in and release. And one last time, take that breath into your feet and stoke that fire in the third chakra, when allowing that energy, that air, oxygen to pass through your lungs and through your fire, fuego, into your second chakra of water to create a steam from the heat and into your root, and be well rooted, and understand that you are the tree that is well fruited, and you will not be knocked down by the four winds, but because you are taking time to heal yourself. Take a deep breath now and allow that breath to travel through your body. And exhale. As we make our way into the second half of the show, I welcome your phone calls, and I ask that you call in at area code 713-955-0332. This is a live show. And not only is this a live show where you can call in and you can ask questions or get a healing or tell your story or or let us know where you're at and what it is you need from us. But this is a show where you can go into the archives later on, whether it's later today, tomorrow, next week, or next month, and you can listen to the show, today's show, later. You can listen to all the shows from the last 4 or 5 months. And that's a great thing, because here you don't have to miss a thing. It's readily available for you. I am readily available for you. 713-955-0332. Give us a call and let us know what it is that you want to say, what it is that, how it is you want to be, where it is you want to go. How is it that you would like to get there? How is it you would like to get there? Because it's not always a clear path on how we want to get to point B. And if I can help you get to point B, I would love to do that. I would love to be able to stand in a place with you and say, come with me. On Sunday, I was at a function here in Los Angeles that a young lady that I met early last year, maybe it was a little bit more than a year ago, I think, at a place called Dharma bookstore in Whittier, California. I would go out there the second Wednesday of every month, and I would do a healing clinic. They have a fundraiser, and I would be one of the healers that would come out and give healing. It's free. And I met this young lady named Brandy, and since then she's been on a path. Well, she's been on a path for quite some time, she did some fundraising. Excuse me, and she raised $300,000 with a partner of hers, and they just opened 8 stores to do taxes. And what they're doing is they're opening these stores in places where people usually get taken advantage of in the lower income areas of Los Angeles, East LA, Southeast LA, and places like that. And she's creating jobs for people. She created probably jobs for, I think there was probably about maybe, I want to say 60 to 70, 80 people at this event that I went to on Sunday. And some of the people that work for her are young boys, teenage boys. They're 15, 16, 17 years old. And there was a mentor there who was going through some exercises, and some of the young men, if you don't teach a young man at an early age, he's not going to learn, and they don't know how to answer questions, and they don't know how to come into themselves, and they don't even know what that means. And one particular exercise, there was a young man who was stuck, and he needed support, and he doesn't have a dad, and there were those of us who were there, and I didn't know why I was there. I don't work for the company, but I was invited by my friend Brandy. She's somebody who, she says I'm like her second dad, which is an honor, because I don't have children, and I would love to be anybody's dad. And this young man didn't have a voice, and then his best friend stood up, and he was asked to talk and tell his friend what he thought of him. And he couldn't, because he didn't have a voice. He was never shown how to have a voice. And I found out later he doesn't have a dad. And I got to stand by these young men, and I got to tell them, I know that you want to be loved, and you don't know how to ask for it. And we get stuck that way. I was like that as well. And I told them that until they learned how to love themselves and ask for love, I would love them unconditionally no matter what. And I will stand by these young men. And I will stand by these young men because nobody stood by me. As a young man, the finger of blame was pointed, at me when I made mistakes and I wasn't able to do something, or whatever the case may be. As a young man of 15, 16, 17, I was told they used the word mal criado, that's Spanish for poorly raised, and they would use that to insult me. Well, I didn't raise myself. I didn't have me. I'm a product of somebody else's physical love, or I don't don't want to call it love. I don't know what it is. But when you speak to somebody that way and call them mal criado or poorly raised, and they are clearly not the adult, and they, I think that's an unfair statement, and that's not taking responsibility by those who don't take the responsibility as parents. And I'm not here to shame anybody as parents, because, parents only know what they were taught. Parents only know what they know. And if they don't know, they don't know. And I can't hold their feet to the fire, and neither can these young men. But as a man who has come a long way in helping myself and healing myself, I will honor myself and honor these young men by saying, yes, you call me, I will be here for you. Oh. And it's because I came this far and I was able to help myself and heal myself with the help of those at Lionheart Transformational Institute of Transpersonal Healing, where I got my training. They taught me how to come into myself and love myself and give myself and nurture myself. Now, all this talk about self sounds really selfish, but it's not. Because when you're on the airplane, and here's this analogy again, and the pressure drops in the cabin, they tell you before the plane takes off, if the masks fall in case of an emergency, put the mask on yourself first. And I will follow up by saying you can't give away what you haven't got. If you have no oxygen to stoke your heart, your lungs, your fire, your fuego, you can't help anybody. How can you? How will you? How do you? So these young men who weren't able to help themselves, and they're not. They don't have the examples in their community that they should have. And they get shown how to be macho, that they should be macho and they should be tough guys. You know what? I was a tough guy, and and those of you from the South who are familiar with Krispy Kreme, they came to California and they didn't hang around long. Krispy Kreme. I'm a Krispy Kreme. I'm soft in the middle and I'm hard on the outside. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I don't need to be hard. I don't need to be hardened by my life. I was hardened by my life, and I had to let go. I had to come into my soul and understand that, I have a lot to offer. I have a lot to give. I have a lot of healing to do. Those people who come into that store down in Eagle Rock, where they find me in the aisles and they ask me questions, and I share my experience with them, and I help them to come out of their mind and into their body and into their breath while they're standing in the middle of a market, and they're willing to go there with me. I commend them. I commend them. But don't start there. Start there, but don't stop there. How can I help you? How can we help you? There's plenty of us out here who are willing to help you if you're willing to ask for help and reach out. 713-955-0332. These young men didn't reach out for help. They didn't ask me for help. But I extended myself because I know what it is not to have a voice, not to feel loved, not to feel like I have a heart, to feel like I have no esteem because nobody cares. And I'm passed through and shuffled through the institutional systems of public school education, of juvenile halls and jails, because that's the life that these kids know for the most part. And nobody entrusts them with anything. But I will entrust them with my time. I will give them my time, because there were those who gave me their time as an adult male when I said, can you help me? When I finally came into my voice, when I finally came into my feet, when I finally learned how to come into my connection with others through my second chakra, and to feel that they were with me, and to understand that I was with them, and they didn't have anything to offer me or give me other than love, understanding, an ear, a critique, advice. And I need these things, and I love these things. But some of us takes a lifetime to get to point B, and I don't want these young men to take a lifetime to get to point B and have to go through the things that I went through to learn what I needed to learn. We can save these young people a lot of trouble if we're just willing to step out of ourselves. I have a friend of mine, because I was looking at social media today, and she was complaining. She said this: why don't people help their neighbor, kids, or the elderly, or help somebody else rather than march on Friday. There's women who are going to march on Friday. It's a march on Washington, and they're not just going to be marching on Washington, D.C. They're going to be marching on Washington, D.C. from San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, from all over the United States and all over the world in protest of. And people have won their rights. People have won their civil rights and their peace from marches like this. When we become bitter because life doesn't present itself the way we want it to, and you spread that poison, I'm sorry, but shame on you. Really? You offer that to the world? And this is the person that I know that grew up eating government cheese. Really? Really? Poor people shouldn't have to live the way they live. Women should not have to be diminished by arrogant, well-meaning men who mean to demean them or diminish them. That's shameful. It's hurtful. Women should make as much money as a man for the same amount of work that they do. I honor women, and I love women, and most of my teachers are women. There's Deborah, there's Emma, there's Marsh, and there's Jeannie Love and Master Seal, and my elder Hector, and my elder Picos. These are people who I honor, and some of my elders wear their hair long to honor women. So if we're willing to be bitter and just sit there and do nothing, and complain that nobody's helping the elderly or the poor or the kids, well, what are you doing if you're complaining about it? When put up or shut up. I always say, I'm glad for those that do. I'm glad for those that march, and I'm glad for those who care for our elders. I'm glad for those who watch over our children, and I'm one of those people who watch over our children. I tell people when they ask me if I have kids, I say no, I don't have kids. My wife has kids. They're older. They're 28 and they're 21. But I, as a male with no children of my own, say I'm the village. I take claim and responsibility to be in the village because I am the eyes and the ears and the heart for those children who may not have anybody, and for the ones that do. And what happens as a result of me doing this? I heal. I become empowered. I give of my time and myself, and I become selfless. Not selfish, I become selfless. And I'm not telling you this for people to call in and say, hey, Anthony, you're a good guy. We even need to pat you on the back. I don't need pats on the back. What I need to do is what I do. Offer myself like I did to these young men the other day, and I'm hoping they'll call me out and they'll call me. I'm hoping they'll say, hey, Mr. Rodriguez or Anthony, whatever they want to call me. I don't care what they call me. Walking Crow. We know that you go to Sweat Lodge. Can we go with you to Sweat Lodge? Can we celebrate ceremony with you? Aho. Can we go into the womb with you? Can we be at that place of the fire? Can we breathe in the holy breath in that womb in ceremony? Aho. And in dignity. Aho. And in healing. This is what I offer people. This is what I have to give. You can come to see me in my office, and we can do a hands-on healing. I can sit, and we can do a soul retrieval. We can do a lot of these things. But it begins with palabra, word, aho, word, palabra, my truth. Having been impeccable with my word as I understand impeccability to be, because we all have a different understanding of that word. It's not the same for all of us, We come from different places. We come from different times. We come from different understandings, and that's okay. That's okay. I was just reminded, healer, heal thyself. Healer, heal thyself. And this is why I do what I do. I am in the midst of a total transformation one more time, and again, here I am. Hello, human. I shared this last week, and I've shared it before, where there were those that as growing up, I went to Catholic school. And this isn't about Catholics or anything like that, but this is about the institution of where the learning institution that I was around and in, and the way I was treated. It was be quiet, sit down, shut up, listen. They say that in AA, as a matter of fact, and that's nowhere in the big book, by the way. So, I don't know what they're talking about, but there comes a time when we should listen and we should be silent. But, the meetings are there for those newcomers to share their troubles. That's in the big book. But in school, I was told to be quiet. Go to your room, go outside, stand in a corner, be quiet. I was given the ruler. I was given the whip. I was given the belt. I was given the strap. I was given the paddle to silence me, to help me to behave, to help me to be, I don't know what. They taught me violence is what they taught me. They taught me how to shrink. And I say, and I'll say it right here, right now, the reason I have, and I'm here speaking in the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show is because of those people. And one of my favorite people, Tiffany White, but she never told me to be quiet. She wants me to speak, and she wants me to speak up and speak out loud. 15 minutes has gone by. We're into the third quarter hour of this radio show, and I want you to place your feet flat on the floor. And I want you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, put your shoulders back, and take a deep breath with me, and right into your feet, right into past your throat, past your heart, into your sternum where your fire is, your fuego, and down into your stomach, your second chakra, just below your belly button, your place of water, your element is water, color is orange, your connection to self, your connection to others. It's where you feel, it's where you heal, it's where we fight or flight. Take a deep breath into that place right now. Inhale, stoking that fire, and exhale. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. And last time, take a deep breath and inhale. And exhale. Interesting. As we were doing that exercise of breathing from down the way, probably about 50, 60 feet, I can hear a dog barking. And for me, when I hear a dog barking or I hear a dog or I see a dog, it reminds me of, and it's a meaning of loyalty. Loyalty medicine. Wolf. Wolf is solitary. Wolf needs pack. And it reminds me of loyalty. And am I loyal to myself? Am I over loyal to myself where I only think of myself and I'm a narcissist and I don't think of anybody but myself? Do I speak of others? Do I think of others? What kind of a person am I? I'm a loyal person, but I'm also loyal not just to you, but to myself, of the things that I need. And I don't always know how to tell you because, hi human, shame creeps in and hurt creeps in, and I care about what you think of me. I used to not care, and actually to a degree, I don't care of what you think about me. If you don't know me and you judge me, it's the people that I love and that I care about, I care that what they think about me, and it's not always comfortable to ask you and to tell you what I want, what I need, what I want to say. But I know that a lot of you out there understand, and I want to thank you. And I want to thank you and all those who support this show. I want to thank those who listen to this show from around the world and across the oceans and across North America and maybe even South America. I know that those people are out there and they're listening. And I hope that many more people can find me, And I can not only just talk on Blog Talk Radio and speak to you, but maybe even come to where you are and in drum and share healings and share myself with you. I would love to do that. So it's a new year. It's 2017, and we're coming into. This is going to be an interesting week because there's things happening on the east coast of this country, which I don't want to give time or energy to, because because they don't deserve it, actually. You know, the human circus is playing out loud, and you know, and it's a sad state of affairs, and we'll see what happens. I mean, many lives are at stake, many billions of lives are at stake, many millions of lives are at stake, and do those involved actually even care? You know, are they serving themselves? Are they only thinking of themselves and their interests, their own interests? What's in it for me? You know, how much money will I make? You know, how much of this country can I take away from those that, you know, don't need to have it? It's not theirs. Like they took away from my people 500 years ago. Oh. You know, and we've been fighting the good fight ever since, like my brothers at Standing Rock have been showing us for the last almost year. You know, and they're out there in the snow, they're out there in the cold, sub-zero degree weather, and they're out there fighting the good fight, while I'm here in sunny California wishing I could be there. And I'll get there, but maybe there's some healing for me to do here. I mean, maybe I need to be fortified. Maybe my root needs to be watered and strengthened before I can go anywhere and do anything. Maybe I need to let go from a place of my heart. You know, maybe I need to let go from, and I come into more of my fire, my fuego. I can, I will, I do, I hope. Maybe I need to learn how to go deeper and connect to myself in my second chakra, the place of water, the place of feeling, the place of creating, of procreating and co-creating. How can I help you? How can we help you to heal? 713-955-0332 is our calling number. You know, push 1 to get out of listen mode and ask a question. Ask a transformational question. Or ask a question and get a transformational answer. We never know what will happen going either way. This is the world of yin and yang, ebb and flow. And how can you change? How can we change? You know, I've come to a place where it's time to change, and it's time to let go of the biggest things in my life if I'm going to move forward. And that's the way it's got to be. You know, I give everything my all, and if I give everything my all and nothing changes, then it's time to move on and try something different or do something different. Not to stand in the mire of my hurt or my sadness or my brokenness, but to move forward as a healed man and say, I can move forward, whether in a group or alone, and I will move forward, and I do move forward. And there are those who have faith in me. There are those who trust me. There are those who will be with me in the way that I have to be and need to be for me, so I can be there for you. 713-955-0332. You know, there's something that I keep talking about transformation. And transformation is, and if you've gone to my Manos Luz Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine page on Facebook, there's some pictures there, a picture of my license, where I'm 238 pounds. Actually, the weight says 208 pounds or 212 pounds, but that's a lie. I lied about, maybe it was 200 pounds, and I lied about that. That's a DMV. And then there's another picture of me at 160 like I am now. Now, this is a program about healing. This is a program about change. This is a program about letting go. And I let go of 78 pounds of life that I no longer need, that I carried around for I don't know how many years, from hurt, wounds, and shames and trauma that they weren't mine to carry. Now, mind you, I lost 78 pounds, but it wasn't about the weight. It wasn't about how I looked. It wasn't about, you know, hey, she thinks I look good. Hey, it wasn't about any of those things. It was about what I was willing to let go of inside, what I was willing to change inside. You know, people ask me when I actually lost the weight. I've kept it off for 4 years, and I eat just about anything I want now, by the way. People would ask me, you know, are you sick? Is there something wrong with you? Are you okay? You know, and they would ask me how I did it. What kind of diet did you go on? I don't believe in diets. In fact, when I speak of diets, and have a book that I've already started writing, as a matter of fact. It's called Diet, DIE-T, because there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time killing themselves, getting on diets and getting off diets and getting on diets and getting off diets. And there's people that I've spoken to, they're going to do a 3-day cleanse. So they order this stuff that comes in juices, and it's a 3-day cleanse, and they can't even get past half of the first day. And they're offering their juice to somebody else because they can't do it. And people ask me, Anthony, what did you do to transform, to transition, to transcend? And I say, I had to change everything. No, really, how did you lose the weight? I had to change everything, and my answer will not change at any given time. I had to let go of the hurts, wounds, and the shames that were necessary for me to stop stuffing food in my body, for me to stop smoking marijuana, for me to stop drinking alcohol, which is detrimental to my soul and my spirit. Spirit's in, spirit out. But they don't want to understand that. They want the secret potion. They want the secret the magic potion that they can dial into, send an emoji, and poof, they're 20 pounds lighter. And then when they go back and they gain that weight, they're 30 pounds heavier than the 20 pounds they lost. That's the vicious cycle of doing things for the wrong reason, doing things for the outsides and not for the insides. What you give yourself and the way you speak about yourself is just as important as the food that you put in your body. What goes in and what goes out has to be yin and yang, ebb and flow, equally important as it comes in and out of your body like breath. Like breath. What is it you're willing to give yourself? What is it you're not willing to give yourself? Are you lying to yourself when you stand in front of the mirror and you mumble out, I love you, when you really don't love yourself? Because you're busy trying to change your outside when you don't know how to be with your inside, your heart, your soul, your feet, the innards, the inside of where we live and breathe. Expand, contract, a whole. My transformation and transition wasn't about losing weight. That was a byproduct of changing my life, changing my soul, changing my heart, of coming into a voice where for a lifetime I was told to be quiet and shut up. Coming into my voice and speaking when I needed to speak, not seen and not heard. Aho. How is it that you want to change? Really, I'm going to ask you again, really, what is it and how is it that you want to change? Really, are you willing to give yourself something good instead of the same old, blah, 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 wah, 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 wah? Stand with me. Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow. Come into yourself. Come into your power. Come into your name. Who is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to be? Who are you right here, right now? Not tomorrow, right here, right now. What is it that you want to do right here, right now? What can you do right here, right now? If all you can do is close your eyes and hug yourself, do that. If all you can do is sit here right now and hug yourself and whisper to your soul, I love you, even if I don't know how to yet, do it. If you want to sit here, right now, and hug yourself and whisper to your soul and to yourself, I love you even when I don't know how, and accept those words inside your body, listen with the deepest part of your soul. Listen with the deepest part of your fire. Listen with the deepest part of your ground, your connection to self, your second chakra. Listen to the vibration of your voice as you whisper to yourself, I love you even when I don't know how to. Teach me how to love you. Teach me how to love me. Teach me how to stand up in my feet, not yours, not somebody else's feet. Help me to stand in my feet. My name is Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow, and this is the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show for Tuesday, January 17th. And I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank those who didn't call in, for those who were busy listening. I want to thank my producer, Tiffany White, for standing with me and standing by me. I want to thank all those who listen, and I want to thank all those who don't. I want to thank all those who told me to speak up, and I want to thank those who told me to shut up. My name's Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow, and for the Transformational Sacred Drum Radio Show, I say thank you and have a good Tuesday. Aho.
Why does getting to the airport have to be such a dilemma? The driving, parking, finagling a ride. Well, if you take Uber, it doesn't. It's easy. Just install the Uber app. Enter your destination, confirm your location, and within minutes, a car will pick you up. Whether you're catching the red eye or taking off at the crack of dawn, you can request a ride 24/7. So avoid the hassle. Install the Uber app now and take your first ride today. Uber, the better way to get there. Why does getting to the airport have to be such a dilemma? The driving, parking, finagling a ride. Well, if you take Uber, it doesn't. It's easy. Just install the Uber app. Enter your destination, confirm your location, and within minutes, a car will pick you up. Whether you're catching the red eye or taking off at the crack of dawn, you can request a ride 24/7. So avoid the hassle. Install the Uber app now and take your first ride today. Uber, the better way to get there.